Let's talk about some other areas, specifically having to do with the debt ceiling, because President Biden is targeting you. He's coming to your district. We're in crunch time. The Treasury Secretary says the U.S. could default on its debts by June 1st. Obviously, this would cause catastrophic consequences. You say there's more time to negotiate. How long are you willing to hold out? Because we just talked to a White House official, and they don't have a plan B. They just say Republicans have to pass a clean debt ceiling bill.
Well, I think it's really unfortunate that the White House has taken this tack. The House Republican majority was elected to serve as a check and balance, in large part because of the reckless spending engaged by the Biden administration, over $5 trillion in new spending in 2 years, creating the situation we're in with a 41-year record high on inflation. I have had three parameters throughout this entire debate. Number one, the president and the speaker and the Senate majority leader must negotiate in good faith. Number two, we must cut spending over the long term because we cannot continue to sustain this. And number three, we cannot default. Those have been my parameters throughout this entire discussion. House Republicans passed a bill. The president and the Senate majority leader obviously do not like it. That's their prerogative. That's their right. But we are a split government. And so we need to all work together, come to the table, and have an honest dialogue. The Senate cannot pass a bill. Yeah. Chuck Schumer could say he's blue in the face that he wants a clean debt ceiling bill. He can't pass it. Right. So I think it would behoove everybody to stop wasting time and actually sit down and negotiate. There's going to be a meeting tomorrow, but the president has already announced he's coming to my district on Wednesday to decry, extreme MAGA Republicans, which pretty much tells you how tomorrow's meeting is going to go. Yeah, I don't know that I would describe you that way. No, neither would I. But it's wasting time, and it's not actually solving the problem here. And so my plea to the president is, look, we understand you're not going to agree with the bill that was passed by the House, but let's get serious and sit down and negotiate something. The president, when he was vice president of the United States back in 2011, did just that. Yeah. That's the Joe Biden of old. That's the Joe Biden everybody is expecting. And I don't know why he's refusing to negotiate. So your colleague, Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina, I asked her if she'd consider passing a clean bill to raise the debt ceiling. If there was some sort of agreement with the White House on serious future negotiations, take a listen.
If there was a gentleman's agreement or a handshake that said, hey, we're going to find a way, we're going to agree to balance the budget in 15 years, 10 years, 20 years, some time frame, then I think that's absolutely doable.
Could you get on board with a plan like that?
Look, I've said from the very beginning, we cannot default. And so, there needs to be an honest, good faith negotiation here. And if we're making progress towards long-term spending reforms that gets our fiscal house in order, of course, we all have a responsibility to do everything we can to avoid default. It would be a disaster for our economy, which is already on the brink, given inflation, given some of the banking failures. None of us want to see that happen. And so we all have an obligation to be honest, be sincere, and sober. And everybody needs to get their big boy pants on and start doing their job rather than sticking to the nonsensical idea that we can just continue down this path and do nothing.
What's your message to President Biden as he heads to your district on Wednesday?
Well, I look forward to welcoming him there and hopefully engaging in a serious conversation about the path forward. The bottom line is we have a split government. This is not a dictatorship. It's not a monarchy. The White House needs to work with the House Republican majority and Senate Democrats to come up with a plan that we can all agree on, move forward, that ensures we do not default, but puts us on the path to fiscal sanity. We all have that responsibility, and I would just remind the president of that.
New York Republican Congressman Mike Lawler, always good to have you on, sir. Thanks so much.